So when I was a kid, and I'm talking like a little kid, like 3, 4, 5 years old, there was this thing that kept happening. We would show up at like a family event, or my parents would run into their friends, or my older sister would run into her friends. And these people, when they would see me, would always say the same thing. Hey, sing Tiger by the Tail. Now, if you don't remember, I've Got a Tiger by the Tail was a hit by Buck Owens and the Buckaroos, released in December of 1964.
I've got a tiger by the tail, it's plain to see.
Charted on the Billboard Top 100 for about 5 weeks. Basically, its time of greatest popularity and airplay would have been just after I turned 2 years old. And so I would have just been becoming verbal right about then and probably mimicking this song I was hearing all the time on the radio. Now I say probably because when they would ask me to sing this song, I couldn't because I didn't remember it. And I'm not saying that I didn't remember all the words. I didn't remember the song at all. I didn't even remember the existence of this song. Apparently, when I had learned this song, it was before I had acquired the ability to develop long-term memories or something, because this song did not exist to me. They might as well have asked me to sing La Boheme. And being in this position, as I'm sure you can imagine, was like one of those anxiety dreams you have, where you're supposed to give a speech or a presentation, or you're supposed to appear in a play, and you get up on the stage and start to talk, and you realize you have no idea what you're supposed to say. You just don't know. Only this was happening to me in real life. As a matter of fact, I had no proof that that it was even me that they were remembering singing this song. I had no memory of this at all. And by the way, the same thing happened in reverse as well. I remember asking my mom about a place we had been, and if we could ever go back there, a place, it was a cave with statues or maybe animatronics of little dwarves and elves and things that were mining gems out of the cave. And my mom had no idea what I was talking about. And then sometime later, I found a souvenir booklet from a cavern, like a Mammoth Cave or Fantastic Cave in Missouri or something. And I said, Mom, this is the place I'm talking about. She said, well, you were never there. We went there before you were born. I had apparently just looked at these pictures and then had either later imagined or dreamed that I had actually been there in person. Please comment below if you have thoughts, but not if you're going to talk about some kind of supernatural reincarnation stuff. I'm not going to get on that crazy train with you.
I'm going off the rails on a crazy train.
But anyway, back to Tiger by the Tail. I had no proof that this was actually me that they were even remembering. They may have been remembering somebody else entirely. Until years later, my mom dug out an old reel-to-reel tape recorder that she had, and there was a tape of me as a little kid singing Tiger by the Tail. It was a real thing. But not only that, I sang another song on that tape, a Christmas song that I had apparently learned in preschool, or play school, actually was the name of the place I had gone. It was called Mrs. Prince's Play School. And that song went like this. Tap, 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 go our little hammers. Ring, 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 go our little bells. We are Santa's helpers. Tappa, tappa, tap, tap. We are Santa's helpers, making Christmas toys. Now, the funny thing about this song is, I also didn't remember its existence. But there it was on the tape. There was me singing it, which means that this was probably a tape of me before I had developed the ability to form long-term memories. And this was another song that I had just forgotten completely, probably within a few months or a year of having learned it. But here it is 40 years later, over 40 years later, and now I remember it word for word. Although, even back then, it seemed kind of suspect. That whole tappa, tappa, tap, tap line sounded like me just vamping because I'd forgotten the actual lyrics. And it's not as if I had heard the song since. Like I said, I wasn't familiar with it, and I still have not really heard anybody sing it ever since then. It's not part of the canon of normal Christmas songs. Except that, thanks to the miracle of YouTube, I can now look it up and I can confirm that not only does the song exist, but I got that tappa, tappa, tap, tap line right. Listen.
We are Santa's helpers, tappa, tappa, tap, tap. We are Santa's helpers, making Christmas toys.
Memory is a funny thing. A lot of our memories are just stories that we've told ourselves and convinced ourselves are true. Sometimes I will have a memory of a certain situation, and then on further reflection, I will realize that my memory is actually mistaken, mainly because the truth was somehow embarrassing or painful for me, and so I had told myself a different story over the years just to make myself feel better about myself. Anyway, that's kind of my Christmas season story about the time I taught myself a song I didn't know. I've been working on editing one of my long-form videos about the early Ditko Spider-Man. The editing is going very slowly. I'm really not happy with the video, and I've already filmed it twice. And I'm trying to replace the music because I keep getting copyright hits on the music I'm using, and that's not going well either. So it may not be until January that this video actually comes out, but I wanted to get something out to you this month just so you know that I'm not giving up on the channel entirely. Tell me your thoughts about memories. What's one of your earliest memories? If you want to know my earliest memory, I may get into that in a later video. Anyway, I hope you have a happy holiday season, a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and I will see you soonish.
Looks like I've got a tiger by the tail.